Coach Shula was recently in Melbourne to give a motivational speech at the King Center, where I had the chance to sit down with him for a one-on-one interview. Let's take a look. Thank you, Coach Shula, for joining me on Touchdown Brevard. My first question to you is, I've always been interested in getting into pro sports or pro broadcasting. What advice would you give young people like myself and other students that are interested in getting into those kind of fields?
Well, you have to make sure you take the right courses and find out the steps that you need to take in order to get there. A lot of people that want to get into broadcasting think that they could go right to the studio and get a job. It doesn't work that way. You got to work yourself up and, you know, make sure you're ready for the opportunity when and if it occurs.
Okay. Coach, in this state of Florida, we passed a law that says that high school students can be tested for steroids at this level. Do you agree with this, or do you think it should go nationally?
And I haven't had, as far back as I can remember, there's never been an issue with steroids. I guess players might have taken something that at that time wasn't a banned substance, but has turned out to be, you know, a negative thing since then. But you know, this is an issue that you want it to go away. You don't want players to need help in order to perform.
Coach, what was the greatest experience for you? Winning a Super Bowl, being inducted into the Hall of Fame, or having title as the winningest coach in the NFL?
Well, all of the above. You know, winning the most games is probably the most important individual accomplishment. Team accomplishment, the perfect season, 17-0. That was something I was very proud of. And then, of course, you know, Super Bowls and being involved in the big games is always something you look back on with great memories.
Okay. Coach, I saw you on the Nike commercial with LaDainian Tomlinson, Brian Urlacher, a couple of other NFL stars, and then Urban Meyer from the University of Florida as your assistant coach, and you were the head coach. Have you ever been interested in being a head coach at a high school football team?
No, I don't think so. You know, I've gone that route. And, I coached in the NFL for 33 years, 26 with the Dolphins and 7 with the Colts. And when I finished coaching, I thought that I'd try to get to know my kids and my grandkids. And so that's where I am now. I need some time off, peace and quiet.
Yeah, that's pretty hard. Coach, you were 3 times the NFL Coach of the Year. What advice would you give to high school coaches that are trying to push their way into the ranks of college coaches and then into the pros?
I think it's the thing that we talked about earlier. It's that you got to take one step at a time. You got to do the best job that you can do as a high school coach and hope that you get noticed, and then move up to the college ranks and hope you get noticed. And then, you know, if you do a good job, you're in the pros. And if you're an assistant in the pros, then you're going to get noticed and get a head coaching job. So you just have to be patient. You have to do the best job that you can do day in and day out with the opportunity that you have, and hopefully people notice and you get moved up.
Thanks, Coach. Coach, you played for Cleveland, you played for Baltimore Colts, you played for the Washington Redskins, but what made you want to be a coach?
I always, as a player, you know, I not only wanted to know what my responsibility was, but I wanted to know what the responsibilities of everybody around me. And if they didn't know what to do, I was always telling them what to do. Sometimes they didn't like it, but I still told them, because I wanted to make sure that we're all doing the right thing. So coaching, I think, was instinctive to me. When I couldn't play any longer, that seemed like the natural thing for me to do.
Coach, I understand that you had younger siblings and you had to take care of them when you were younger. I too had 2 twin sisters, and I had to take care of them when they were young. How has this molded you into a person that you are today?
Well, I was given a lot of responsibilities at an early age. We had triplets in our family that were 6 years younger than I was. And when I was in the 8th grade, they were in the 1st grade. I used to make sure that they got on the bus, after school, got home, and to watch them at school so that nobody bullied them on the playground. So I was given a lot of responsibility at an early age.
Well, that's really good, Coach. I totally understand about watching and making sure they don't get bullied. Coach, you also, my last question, you do a lot of motivational speeches all over the country, all around. What is your main message?
Well, again, I just try to talk about the things that have been very important to me in any success that I've had along the way. Attention to detail, the little things that add up to make a difference, and do the best that you can with the ability that you have, because, you know, all of us want to be successful. And you talk about it, but you're not willing to do the things that are necessary to be successful. So, yeah, I try to motivate people to do the right things.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you for your time. This is unfortunately all the time we have for this interview. I really appreciate you being here, Coach. It's an honor to meet you, sir.
My pleasure.
And
thank you.
thank you.
Excellent interview. Tony had a busy week because he was also on location in Palm Bay to cover the Bayside versus Vieira game. Let's go to his report.
Hello, everyone. Anthony here at Bear Stadium. As the Vieira Hawks get ready to take on the Bayside Bears. It's the Bayside Bears senior night as well tonight as they end their season. Unfortunately, they lost to Melbourne last week that knocked them out of playoff contention. So, they have to play one more game and get ready to take on a tough Vieira team who's trying to snap their 5-game losing streak and end their first full varsity season on a positive note. Both teams are getting ready to look into the offseason, but they first have to deal with each other. Let's roll the video. We'll start off with Maurice Francois, hands off to number 8 to Kobe Johnson as he goes right into the middle of Vieira Hawks defense as he bulldozes his way for the Bayside score. Ricky Bell's extra point is good to give Bayside a 7-0 lead with 11:07 left in the first. Number 13 tries to look to throw, and he's intercepted by number 5, Sonny Jean-Pierre, as he takes it down the 50, the 40, and across the 30 to about the 27-yard line for the interception return. Ricky Bell's field goal try is no good. It's a little bit to the left, but it's no good. And then Vieira tries to punt away, but it snaps too high for the punter. As he tries to punt it again, but Milholm Jean-Charles will block it, and number 2, Dion Broomfield, will take it to the 3-yard line for Bayside. Maurice Francois hands off to number 6, the bruising back, Dante Battle, as he scores. Bell's extra point is good, so Bayside's up 14-0 with 2:57 left in the first. Here's Bayside cheerleaders. And then Vieira tries to get back on the offense, but they fumble the ball. So it's no good. They gave it right back, but Vieira gets it right back, and Jordan Napoltino's 15-yard run into the end zone gives Vieira its score for the touchdown. Nice run. But then the trickery with the overhead pitch to the kicker fumbles, but TJ Jackson gets it in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. So it might be a game. 14-8, 7:01 left in the second. Maurice Francois hands off to number 6, Dante Battle. He's not only showing his brute force, but shows he can run and take it the distance, taking it 61 yards for the score. Ricky Bell's extra point to come out, and it's good. So Bayside's on top, 21-8, 6:26 left in the second. Vieira punts it away, and Corey Bloomfield has to go back deep. Going across the 50. He's going to go left. He's got Vieira Hawks chasing him. Still chasing him as he cuts across the field at the 15-yard line, and he's just going to walk his way into the end zone. So a nice touchdown by the senior. It's 28-8, 4:32 left in the second. Then Maurice Francois will score his own touchdown for senior night as he goes 1 yard out for another Bayside score. Ricky Bell's extra point out is good to give Bayside a 35-8 lead. And then Vieira will hand off to TJ Jackson again, and he's stopped by a pile of Bayside Bears, but it's a fumble. And then Bayside will recover. And then the next play, Maurice Francois can't handle the snap, and Vieira recovers their fumble. So finally, after the fumbles are done, Maurice Francois hands off to number 8, to Kobe Johnson, and he scores for his second touchdown. And then Brandon Zizzo comes out for the extra point, which is good. So it's 42-8 with 1:05 left. And then David Dunbar's, he's going down the 30, the 20, crosses back, and he'll score from 45 yards out to give Bayside another touchdown, making the final score 49-8. The Bayside Bears dominated much of this game against the Vieira Hawks as they won 49-8. Bayside finally won their last game of the season for their seniors, and it's really glad to see it as they came out on a positive note with their coach Mike Davis as they went 7-3. A lot of Dante Battle and Kobe Johnson pounding on the Vieira Hawks defense. A little trickery by Vieira got them their 8 points, but otherwise Bayside dominated for the whole game. This is Anthony on location at Bear Stadium.